Hello and welcome to Video Game Hangover. I'm Randy Dickinson and I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Hello, I'm DJ Ross. I'm in Mountain View, California.
On every episode of Video Game Hangover, we talk about the games that have been keeping us up at night. This week we're playing Spilled, Star Overdrive, and Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh, what did you spill?
I spilled stars in Overdrive.
Oh man, well, my next question would be, what did you overdrive? Which doesn't really make sense.
Nope,
but
none of this does.
Yeah, well.
So yeah, we're going to play some games. We played games. We're going to talk about some games.
Maybe one of these weeks we should just, have a game on in the background.
I don't think I'm a good multitasker. I know I'm not a good multitasker.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it'd probably be very distracting.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I feel like when I'm streaming and people join to watch me play the game, I feel like I have a responsibility to entertain them in addition to the entertainment of the game.
Mm-hmm. You should tell them a joke or something.
Yeah. Or do you come here often or, things like that.
Do they come to your Twitch channel often?
They don't. I can tell you nobody does. Yeah. See this game? So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little weird. So I can't imagine trying to do this while also playing a game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It had to be a very specific type of game.
Yeah.
Have to be one of those, I was going to say, it'd have to be one of those podcast games, but that people talk about. But that brings a whole new meaning to podcast games.
Right, yes. People who play a game but don't listen to the soundtrack of the game, they listen to a podcast while they're gaming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that either. I think I do no audio or I do the game audio.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No audio. Wait a minute. You turn the game audio off or you?
Yes.
When do you do that?
Sometimes. I'm playing in bed.
I see. Yeah. Okay. That makes total sense.
But rather than putting headphones on, which I don't generally do when I'm playing games either, I'll just turn the volume down and leave subtitles on or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Will you play something sort of how should I word this? Are you playing mostly mobile games muted like that, or would you be playing something I don't know, some huge production God of War kind of deal, just in bed with the sound muted?
No God of War. I mean, Switch things. So occasionally Zelda games and
okay.
Yeah,
I would put that probably in the same realm of God of War stuff, or just big AAA games.
Yeah. But mostly my bedtime gaming is puzzle games or lately it's been Blueprints.
Ooh.
Balatro, lots of Balatro, and lots of Slay the Spire. So yeah, mostly puzzle games, not mobile games necessarily, but yeah. I have really good lighting on my side of the bed too. I have a little arm light thing that's very focused, so I don't disturb Sarah. And it's a good place.
You don't
to play.
Blow out the games that she's trying to play.
No, she's trying to sleep. She's one of those crazy people who likes to sleep when she's in bed.
Oh yeah, she just likes to be rested in the morning. She's
yes,
one of those
correct.
people.
Yeah, she always gets 3 hours more sleep than me, and we both go to bed at the same time.
3 hours? That's a lot of bedtime gaming.
2 to 3, depending on how good the game is.
Wow, man, I gotta step it up. I've just been going to bed.
No, I am not an early to bed person.
No.
Yeah, it's a struggle for me to fall asleep before midnight.
Oh, but you're in bed early. You just don't fall asleep quickly.
Correct. Yes.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that.
Man, I wish I could get that much gaming done in bed lately. I mean, not even lately. For the last few years, I will have the intention of playing something, and just I don't know when this started happening. Within 10 or 15 minutes, I will be passed out, and hopefully I've had a chance to pause the game or put it on sleep. But I've woken up many times in the morning, when I should be getting up, and my phone is just there and I'm just in the middle of a Slay the Spire run where the clock has now run up to like 6 or 7 hours. I'm just like, oh, well, I'm not getting any points for this one.
Oh, that's funny. Sometimes I have that. Like I will. It never at like first thing in the morning. I don't ever get through the night, but I'll wake up 3 a.m. or something like that with like glasses akimbo, the Switch on 3% battery life. Yeah.
That's the other thing. Oh man,
I guess I was sleepy.
You don't want to run out of battery when you're in the middle of something.
Yeah. The 3DS was always good for that. I was frequently falling asleep with the 3DS in my hands playing Animal Crossing or something and would wake up to a dead battery. Yeah. But I like, what I was going to say is I like using the Playdate in bed because it's the only place I can see the screen really good with this, like the direct reading light I have on it. So, and I did just subscribe to Playdate Season 2. So
I saw them announce that.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting. 12 new games coming soon. I think starts in May, actually. So as soon as those start to drop, I will talk about them on the show. But including a new game from, oh man, what is that? FTL, the FTL developers. Made a new game for the Playdate. So I don't know anything else other than that. So I will not be taking questions. But
haven't heard from those guys in a while.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Been busy making their first Playdate game, and 11 other games. So we'll see what comes out of that. But yeah, that's prime gaming time.
Like I said, I gotta step it up, or maybe just start going to bed earlier. That's probably a good idea in general.
Yeah. I mean, it would be probably smart to like go to bed and sleep, but I don't. Yeah, I've never been really good at that ever.
For some reason, like in the last few years, I've just gotten very good at it, whether I want to or not. So, I guess that's good overall.
Yeah.
But I do wish I'm just like, oh man, I missed the bedtime gaming.
I think something like as people tend to get older, they go to bed a little bit earlier. That's the sort of the joke about like the blue light special or something like that. Is that you know, my parents eat dinner at 4 p.m. Because they're asleep by 9. But as I've gotten older, that's never been my experience. I don't know if I have to get much older for that to kick in, but no, I'm usually I can stay up till like 1 pretty reliably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's about where I'm at. I think I'm just like, I should probably be heading in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how we got on that topic, but gonna find a way to get out of it.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I have 2 gaming related questions for you this week, DJ.
Oh.
Did you get a Switch 2 pre-order?
Oh man, I was gonna ask you about this.
Oh, fantastic.
I think I did.
Yeah. Time will tell, right?
I mean, like at this point, I'm pretty sure. I haven't gotten a cancellation email or anything.
Oh, fun.
But man, it was very sort of like touch and go for a while.
Oh no.
Well, or it just seemed like it could go any which way.
Yeah.
Man, it's been. I was thinking about this. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever like done this before. And by that, I mean, stay up and try and buy something very popular online. The closest thing I could think of was like back when I would go to PAX, I would try to get the PAX tickets.
Yeah.
Which would sell out like almost instantly. And then you have to be in the online waiting room, and there'd be a whole bunch of other technical issues that would crop up inevitably. But like aside from that, I can't think of any other experience I've had that has felt similar to trying to get a Switch 2 when the pre-orders went live.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a circus. And I mean, it's been a moving target as far as when it would happen. And when it was finally announced, it seems like some retailers were going to do it exactly at midnight. GameStop was going to do it at 10 a.m. when their stores opened the next morning, which was a mess, I'm sure. It also begs the question, people still stop at GameStop?
Like GameStop still has stores?
Yeah.
Well, I guess they're online, so that doesn't matter. But yeah.
Yeah. And then Best Buy said they were going to launch at midnight, but somebody fell asleep. Speaking of sleeping.
That was who I was trying to buy mine, and I was just like, okay, I don't know how this works.
It was like 12/12 when they finally went on sale.
Oh, it was much later than that. Let me
Oh,
tell
was
you.
it really? I thought it was just a few minutes after.
Oh no. It got to the point where I was just like, this is stupid. I will just like the dumbest thing about this whole thing is like I'm still not like diehard. I need a Switch on launch day. So I was like, what am I doing? I'm just like sitting at the computer.
And why am I doing it?
Yeah, like it's only 9:00 on where I am, so
Nice.
that made it a little easier to deal with. But I was like, it was like 9:30, and the site still hadn't updated, and I was just thinking, like, there are people who do this all the time. Why do people subject themselves to stuff like this? I was thinking of just like calling it and going back to whatever I was doing, but very quickly after that, they refreshed the site, and I was after only minor technical issues, I was able to complete an order.
Oh, good. I just had a birthday, so I had a couple of Best Buy gift cards, and I figured like that was the place to go. But when I logged in at 11:59 and waited for it to click over, like I figured it would go live instant. But it just said coming soon on all of the like all the games, all the console iterations all said coming soon, and I'm like, did I miss it somehow? It's 12:03. Did it sell out?
That's what I was thinking. I was just like, maybe I already missed it. Maybe the bots and the scalpers are just like in there at 12:01 immediately, and it's gone so quickly you don't even realize.
Yeah. So I immediately switched over to Target and just was able to put it in my cart, cash out, no problem, incident free. And I was like, well, I'll save those gift cards for games, I guess.
Yeah,
and
you're still going to need them one way or another.
Right, yeah, but just buy my console from Target. The problem is that with the Target scenarios, you can't walk in and pick it up on release day. They have to rely on shipping. So that's a whole other thing.
I'm hoping I'm just going to be able to walk down the street to my Best Buy, which I always complain about because it used to be a grocery store, and I'd much rather be able to walk to get groceries than walk somewhere to, like, I don't know, buy an iPod or something.
Overpriced electronics, yeah.
Yeah. But and this is one of the few scenarios where I'm just like, okay, I will just walk to the Best Buy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's, I got one too. I don't quite know why. Yeah. I've never bought I don't think I've ever bought a home console on day one. But with portables, like the 3DS I got on day one, the Vita I got on day one, I like getting my portables on day one.
I think I have bought the last 4 Nintendo consoles day one, which is disgusting. Which I don't even know how it got to this point. I mean, I kind of know.
Yeah.
I remember exactly how it happened. But I don't think of myself as somebody who gets consoles day one.
Yeah. Except for those 4.
Except for, yes, all the Nintendo consoles for the last 10 years. 20 years, excuse me. Jesus. I mean, I wanted the Wii. Everybody wanted the Wii. I wanted the Wii U so I could play Monster Hunter specifically. And I was worried about it selling out everywhere, like the Wii. And that was luckily not the case.
This was Monster Hunter a launch day game?
I don't even think it was. No, I think it came out a few months afterward, but I was like, I need one. I need to have it when Monster Hunter comes out. Because if it's going to be a Wii situation, which again, thankfully it was not, I didn't want to have, end up with just the game and nothing to play it on. And then, everybody wanted the Switch 1 when it came out so they could play Zelda, right?
Right, yeah.
I don't remember Switch 1 pre-orders being as much of an ordeal as Switch 2.
No, I recall that being fairly easy.
Yeah.
I remember the Vita being super easy too. I don't remember, and that's probably in hindsight that's not surprising, I guess. But
I don't know how much people were clamoring for that thing.
I was excited, but
it's not that nobody wasn't.
Yeah, may have been the minority on that.
Yeah.
And the 3DS, I jumped in super early, and there was a lot of backlash because it was so expensive. It was $250 on release day.
Yeah.
But I had no regrets.
It turned out all right in the end.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I don't aside from those, I don't think I've ever done a day one console thing.
Even as a kid, didn't get in line for the GameCube or anything like that?
No. I mean, I really would have liked to have, but when it's your parents buying the thing, you can't really demand they take you to the store or whatever.
Get up. It's midnight. Let's go to the store. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was always like even when I was just like buying the consoles myself, I don't know. I was like fairly late to like every PlayStation, I think. Didn't get an Xbox until much afterward.
Yeah.
It's just Nintendo for some reason.
I mean, those were always like Christmas presents for me. It was never a thing that like I went out and got myself in the middle of the year. Like if the console came out in, August or whatever, or April, I would get it hopefully for Christmas later that year from parents or something. So it was never a thing I bought myself as a kid.
I got a Game Boy Advance fairly close to release.
Nice.
But not day one.
Yeah. I got my DS super late. They were hard to find for a long time, and I wanted one desperately and searched for months. And this is before...
Just a regular DS?
Just a regular DS. A DS Lite, actually, was the one I was looking for. I never had a DS Fatty back in the original DS, but once the Lite one came out, they were really, really hard to get. And all of my friends were playing Animal Crossing, and I was like, what is this weird game? So yeah, searched for months trying to find a DS. And I was a district manager for a mall store at the time. And anytime I would go to one of my malls during my travels, I would always check GameStop or Babbage's or Electronic Boutique or whatever it was at the time to see if they had any in stock. And I distinctly recall one day they were like, oh, we just got some in. I was like, yes. Is it the color I want? Yes, it's the color I want even too. So, and finally
that was important. Back when they used to have different colors you could pick from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. I don't remember there being that much of a DS shortage at any point. Yeah. But at that point, I most likely had mine, so I wasn't as worried about it.
Right. Yeah. I survived the great DS shortage of whatever year that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. Well, excellent. We'll play Mario Kart together and probably not much else right away.
Yeah. Well, we better play Mario Kart because now I gotta justify buying this thing.
Did you get the bundle?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I was like, if I can't get the bundle, then I don't care.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point.
That's the way to go.
Which is, it's frustrating to me because it's, I'm not even dying to play Mario Kart. I feel like at this point I've played so much Mario Kart, I'd probably live if I didn't play this one at all. So I'm kind of annoyed that that's the launch game, or like the big launch game anyway. Yeah. I am looking forward to playing Fancy Zelda, but it's just... It's sort of emblematic of just like whenever any other AAA game comes out at this point, like even the latest Monster Hunter, I was like, I guess I'll play it. I'm not like dying to play a new Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the price thing on new games is tough too. It's before we hopped on tonight, we were talking about Death Stranding 2, and you're like, oh, it's going to be so expensive.
I hate it. Cheaper than Mario Kart, though.
Yes. Yep. That is a statement of fact.
It's like, I probably wouldn't get one at launch because I'm not... I mean, I wouldn't normally get one at launch because, like I said, I'm not dying to play Mario Kart, but just knowing that being Nintendo and pricing things how they do, it's not going to get cheaper ever, which is... like also frustrating that that's how they operate, but they trained everyone very well because I was convinced that like I might as well get it now because it's going to be the same price as whenever I get it later on.
Yeah. I also feel like it's distinctly possible given Tariffapalooza that it could get more expensive at some point. If we wait a year, if you wait 6 months, it's going to be potentially more expensive than it is right now. And it's pretty expensive right now. So, yeah, that was my logic on it too. Do it now, otherwise, maybe pay more later.
Yeah, I haven't even started. I mean, it was a concern. I was like, yeah, maybe it'll actually get more expensive, but
yeah,
I haven't put a lot of thought into how much that's going to affect just the prices of everything.
Yeah,
I do feel very relieved having gotten a pre-order in though, because now it's just one fewer thing I have to think about.
Was that a big source of stress for you?
You know, I mean, again, I wasn't like clamoring to play Mario Kart, but then I know that when there is a Switch 2 game that comes out that I actually want to play, that I will just be able to. I'll just have it.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, I was like, even up to the night that it went on sale, I wasn't 100% certain that I was necessarily super motivated to get one. I posted in our Discord, like, hey, tonight's the night. Is anyone else staying up? And there was not really like an outpouring of support. And I was like, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I could wait. But like my broken brain, it was like, if I didn't get one, everybody else would have one. I'd feel that like FOMO.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that. So yeah, I figure why not.
I've
been a good boy. I've been very good
justification.
this year.
Yeah. You deserve it. You deserve a Switch too.
Yeah. A little treat.
Just a little treat.
A little $500 treat.
Yeah.
So video game question number 2.
Oh, yes. There was another one of these.
Yep. Are you watching The Last of Us Season 2?
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, fantastic.
Also for weird reasons.
Yeah? Okay. Is there a story there? Or?
I don't know if it's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed The Last of Us 1, both the game and the TV adaptation.
Same.
I feel like I like the TV version better just because it's like a quarter of the length.
Oh, interesting. Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I liked the game when it came out. I think it was I don't think if I played it now I would enjoy it as much because it's not the type of game I really enjoy a lot at this point. So here's the weird thing from like how I'm coming at it is I didn't play part 2
at all.
Yeah, because I just like at that point I was just like this doesn't look enjoyable to me. It just like looks so bleak and like violent, and yeah, I just didn't need it. But yeah, you better believe that I read everything about that game because of like the backlash and the sort of like online reactions to spoilers and everything. And I'm not gonna like give away anything because I know people are still watching the show.
Right.
But I was just, like, I really enjoyed the first season of the show, and I thought, oh man, if season 2, just based on part 2 of the game, that's going to be wild. I have to just be on board. I have to be part of the zeitgeist for that.
Right.
Because I want to see, like, if there's just a global meltdown when people encounter certain plot points from the game.
Sure. In real time as it all comes down together. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like primarily why I've been watching season 2. Yeah. And I thought like I like season 1. Maybe season 2 will be a good way for me to enjoy the experience of the game, which people still speak very highly of.
Yeah.
But it's been weird because I know a little bit about the game. I know like the big events that happen, the ones that make people go crazy online. But I don't really know a lot of like what happens in between. So I feel like I'm coming kind of fresh to season 2.
Cool. Well, that's exciting too then.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird because I'm like, okay, so now like the stuff that I was waiting to happen has happened, and now I'm just sort of waiting to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah. Like you, I'm quite enjoyed the first game. I think I played it more than once, or at least played some of it a second time. So I watched the first season of the show, kind of knowing exactly where it was pointed and kind of how things were going to measure out, and it certainly took a couple of detours, which is cool too. I'm fine with that. But more or less kind of landed where I thought it would, and hit a lot of the beats I was expecting it to hit. I was very excited for the Last of Us video game part 2 to come out. It came out in June of 2020, and I desperately needed something exciting in my life at that point. Because 2020 was a rough year for most of us. And it was something to look forward to. But never finished it. Played a lot of it, but never saw credits roll on it. So I don't know how video game part 2 ends. Like you said, I know some of the early story beats, but I don't know where the whole thing sort of lands.
You didn't look up the ending or anything?
No, never looked at the ending. I still don't know.
See, I know what happens at the very end.
Oh, really?
So
I don't.
That's like the only other piece of information
I know.
That's a bummer. Because people were very upset about that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm watching it now, and I'm kind of at a point we're 3 episodes into season 2 of the show, and I don't know much of what happens from this point forward. So I, like a lot of folks, I'm just sort of waiting for more surprises, which is cool, which is kind of a nice place to be, because there were not a lot of surprises in season 1. And in fact, like the first couple of episodes of season 2, I kept waiting for things to happen. And I was watching Sarah's face because she's been super into it and has enjoyed it as well. And I've been trying to sort of like enjoy the big surprises vicariously through her.
So it sounds like she did not know what was going to happen.
She did not, no. And I desperately wanted to like spill the beans for the last year and a half while we waited for season 2 to roll around, but did not. So it was, I don't know if fun is the right word, but it was interesting and exciting to kind of go through the range of emotions with her. Yeah. But yeah, from this point forward, I am a blank slate. I know very little about what happened. So I like it. I think Bella Ramsey is pretty excitional. It's hard to imagine anybody else at this point being
has been so good.
Ellie. Yeah, I think they're doing a really, really good job at dropping other kind of interesting characters in. Yeah, it's been really, really good and satisfying, and I'm curious to see where it goes.
I find that my interest to keep watching it has dropped significantly since episode 2, though, which is when a lot of the big things happened. Because I was mostly on board with this. Like, I just want to see how people respond to this.
Yeah.
But now that it's getting into more of like, I guess what the rest of the game was about, which was the stuff that, I was not really interested in the first place from the game itself. I'm just like, I don't know if that's as compelling to me as part 1 was.
Yeah, I have a friend who posted on like a group chat the other day, like, hey, everybody, now that The Last of Us is done, what should I watch next? And I was like, hey. Yeah. So, I wonder how many people are like just getting off the train at this point, but.
Yeah, I'm still going to give it a shot because people speak very highly of it. In fact, a lot of the comments I've seen are about how they think the game handled certain aspects of it better, or there's like still really interesting stuff that the game did that doesn't come across if you're just sort of reading a plot summary or something, trying to keep things vague. Which is interesting because whenever I would read sort of, or whenever I just like spoiled most of the rest of the game for myself, I was just like, yeah, I feel okay not, like I don't really feel like I need to play this because it just doesn't sound as interesting as the story in part 1. But nevertheless, a lot of people are just like, no, just like give it a shot. It's actually really good. So a lot of people say it's like the best game they've ever played, which
cool.
is always sort of eyebrow raising. So I'd like to see what people are talking about. I'd like to sort of understand what they're referencing.
Sure, totally. I've also had the sort of the realization to myself that, like you, I don't really play games like that so much anymore. And if they made like a Last of Us 3 video game, I don't know if I would play it. I don't know what they're going to use as sort of the source reference for season 3, if there is a season 3 of the show.
Well, I think they said that, like, without spoiling anything, that season or part 2, the game is stretched across seasons 2 and 3.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. It does seem like they covered a lot of ground very fast. So
yeah. I don't like. I heard part 2 was a very long game compared to part 1.
Oh, interesting.
And I heard there was sort of interesting, like, sort of what do you call it? Sequences that took place out of order in part 2. And potentially interesting ways they could like break up the format that way across 2 seasons. But I really don't know enough about it to sort of predict how they'll handle it.
Yeah. Season 2 of the show is only 8 episodes, so that's brief. That's very short. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious if you were on board. Typically, when I get hyped about a TV show, you're like, oh, I'll wait for all of them to come out. I'll watch them all in one shot.
Yes. I mean, that is what I prefer, because it's just, sometimes you don't want to wait a week.
Yeah. I like the
sometimes
episode
it's good
of the
to
week.
wait a week. Sometimes it's good to have the anticipation and give the episode a little room to breathe or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, like, like you, I think you and I were a few years apart, but I think we both grew up waiting for like the next episode of X-Files next week or the next episode of Twin Peaks next week. So,
Oh yeah.
or Lost or whatever your sort of obsession was at the time. So, I still do like when episodes kind of make you wait for it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I feel like, you don't want to wait for it, but it really does sort of improve the experience, not just binging everything.
Yeah. Or waiting 3 years for the next episode of Severance.
No. Well, I'm like, don't get me started on Severance. I wish that they were able to do part 2 in just one season, because like stretching it feels like it's just going to be so like stretched out. What am I trying to say? Just
the likelihood of not coming back for part 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Increases.
I really like that. It felt like they had to maybe cut a lot of stuff for season 1, but it worked out really well. I thought it was a really successful adaptation. Cool. So I sort of wish, they could just have a nice little concise adaptation for season 2 or part 2. But who knows? We'll see what they end up doing.
TBD. Yeah, still a few weeks to go. Cool. All right. Those are all my questions for you.
Oh, all right. Well, guess we should wrap it up.
You streamed some Ghost of Tsushima last week, right? I guess this is a follow-up question. How was that?
Oh, man. Oh, this game. I have a lot of thoughts about this game.
Yeah. You've been playing it, though. I keep seeing you online playing it.
Yes. Every time I turn on my PlayStation, I'm just like, Andy knows about this. Somehow he's getting notified in real time.
There's a disturbance my spidey senses are tingling.
I have a lot of thoughts about this game. I feel like it is not going to end up in like my top games of all time or anything. Probably far from it, but it has nevertheless been an immensely entertaining experience.
Oh.
So Ghost of Tsushima,
in a positive way?
it's mostly positive. It's not like Assassin's Creed 3. I'm just like hate playing it after a certain point. But oh man, it just feels like a game from a different era. And speaking of games where just like, I wouldn't play something like The Last of Us in 2025. I'm like, I don't know if I would necessarily play this game or a game like this. But I've been very curious about it for a long time because it is it's an open world game where you're the samurai guy and you spend most of it just doing sort of like open world missions and stuff in this very sort of idealized version of not like ancient Japan, but forget when exactly this takes place. When did the Mongols invade Japan? Everybody knows when that happened, right? It's around then.
2017.
Back in 2017, yes. We remember all those news stories about the samurai trying to fend off the Mongol ships from landing on Tsushima Island.
Yeah. Is that feudal Japan?
Probably. I got mixed up about feudal Japan when I talked about Live Alive, because it was like the era which I would normally go like, oh yeah, that's feudal Japan. But it was the era like right after that, which is different. So I don't know. It's like there's still samurai around. It's that, like roughly that time frame.
The samurai are not extinct yet. The dinosaurs are, though.
Tom Cruise hasn't showed up yet to get them all in line or whatever. Oh man, but it is just it's just an open world game from the late 2000s, early 2010s. Remember those things?
I do. Yeah,
it surprises me actually.
Big collectathon.
It's a lot of side quests. It's actually like it's basically just Horizon. Did you play Horizon Zero Dawn?
For a while.
For a while, like a long while.
Long enough. I don't know how many hours specifically, but like I do recall at some point putting the controller going down and thinking, okay, I get it.
Like that's enough Horizon.
Yeah, like I don't need to do any more like side quests or anything like that. Like I understand what you're doing. That's fine.
Yeah. I remember playing Horizon and thinking like it sort of felt like a new take on open world games, like different from the Ubisoft format, which is I guess the most I played the most Ubisoft open world games up to that point, like mostly the Assassin's Creed stuff. So somehow Horizon felt sort of like somebody else's take on that. It felt a little less like the UB format. And there was, I want to say there was suddenly all this emphasis on stealth, but there was a lot of stealth in Assassin's Creed, so I don't know why I would have thought that. But
yeah.
It just felt sort of like next generation open world. But at the same time, it didn't hit with me. I don't really know why. I think it was probably the stealth stuff, because it wasn't just like in Assassin's Creed, you would have to sneak into like, it would only be very specific areas which you had to be very stealthy in. Like for the most part, you could just walk around as long as you weren't like murdering people in the open. Guards wouldn't chase after you or anything.
Right.
You'd keep a low profile. But in Horizon, it really felt like, or at least the way I played it was, I would try and just be stealthy across the entire world, which made the game just interminably slow, because I would spend all my time hiding in the tall grass and trying to sneak around all the robot dinosaurs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why I dropped off it. I just wasn't able to do anything in a reasonable amount of time.
Right. You spent all of your playtime hiding in the grass.
Yeah. So Ghost of Tsushima, it like the very beginning, there's like this big battle with the Mongols arriving, and all the samurai go down to the beach to try and fend them off. They don't do a great job, and then you wake up later on. You're like one of the few surviving samurai. You have to like retake the island from the Mongols, essentially. In the opening hours, you're trying to escape from this Mongol camp, or I guess they've set up camp where they landed on the beach. And you have to kind of like sneak out and get your equipment back. And I was like, oh no, is this just another open world stealth game? Like,
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I've never played it, and that was always my understanding of what it was. Is that not accurate?
Somewhat. And this is sort of one of the other things I struggle with about this game is that so first of all, I just thought you were like a samurai going around and like dueling people, not necessarily sneaking around everywhere.
I challenge you to a duel.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that I spent the first like 5 or 10 hours just trying to figure out what I was expected to do, because the game doesn't seem to be 100% sure itself of how you're supposed to play this. Because the character you play as, and like the family he comes from, are all samurai, so they're all about, being honorable and, challenging your enemies directly and that sort of thing. But like in the beginning, you meet this character who's basically a ninja, who's like, okay, in order to get out of this, we need to be very sneaky and, stay hidden and, assassinate our enemies. And that was surprising to me, because I was like, oh, somehow I didn't expect this to be a stealth game, which I know Ghost is right in the title, so maybe I was not thinking about it that well.
It's the noisy neighbor of Tsushima.
Yes, the very loud man of Tsushima. So at that point, I was like, oh, I like a stealth game, and like I'm really looking forward to that, to playing Assassin's Creed Shadows at some point, where you actually do play as a ninja.
Yeah. So
I was like, okay, I'll sneak around a little bit, and as soon as you start doing that, you well, like even before you start doing that, the guy you play as, Jin, he's just like, well, I don't know about this. I'm all about charging in directly and fighting people. I don't think I can just dishonorably like assassinate people from the shadows, but whatever is necessary to get these Mongols out of here. So you start doing that, and then the more you do it, or at least after I had assassinated enough people secretly, there's like this. I got this whole cutscene of him like flashing back to growing up with his uncle and getting his samurai training, where his uncle's basically just like chastising him for, like, don't ever depart the samurai path. Don't take the dishonorable route and do all the stuff that I am now doing. So I'm just like, wait a minute. Is this like, was that something that just happens? Is that something that happens as I continue to do this? Is this just going to be the whole, like, infamous because it's the same developer as Sucker Punch. Like, oh, do you want to save the orphanage or do you want to like burn down the orphanage and steal all their clothes or whatever sort of binary choice system?
Mhm.
And at this point, it's still it really feels like the character is destined to become the Ghost of Tsushima. He was a samurai, but he has turned to this different path in order to do what it takes to get the job done. But the game just feels so confused about this because, like, the last mission I did, we're sneaking back into the castle that is attacked at the start of the game, and they're keeping your samurai uncle captive in the keep somewhere. So you're trying to get in and rescue him. And very early on, they tell you, we got to get in here and not raise the alarm. Because if we do that, they might execute your uncle. So I thought, okay, so we're fully committed now. We're the Ghost of Tsushima. We're going to sneak around. We're going to stab a bunch of guys in the neck. We're not going to set off the alarm. So I started doing that. And I get to one of the castle courtyards, and my little ninja ally shows up. And she's like, okay, there are a lot of guards here. We could assassinate them quietly, or we just fight all of them. Like out in the open. Like, what? What happened to the alarm? Like, nobody cares about the alarm anymore. And then that is just like, I guess I just forget about the alarm because at that point I just started killing people and it's like right out in the courtyard, and it was fine. Which I think, I think I prefer because the samurai combat system, it's nothing amazing, but it's more interesting to me than like sneaking around everywhere. And also, it's much faster compared to like how I would play Horizon or Splinter Cell or something. It would just take me 10 times as long to get through the game that way. But I'm still, in the back of my head, I'm just like, okay, like, I don't want to disappoint my uncle. Because there are also these, like, as you're completing a side quest leading up to this mission, your captive uncle is talking to the Mongol general or whatever, who's like, who's holding him. And he's like, your nephew has been, rampaging around the island, just assassinating people like an animal. Your uncle seems really disappointed at that point. So I was like, oh, okay. I honestly don't know if these are just cutscenes that always play out that way, and maybe if I had played more honorably, my uncle would have been like, oh yeah, I really raised him like a proper samurai. And it's just been a weird experience because I can't tell honestly what the game is expecting you to do.
Interesting.
But I don't even know where I'm going from at that point, because I honestly would like to just play it like my uncle intended, as an honorable samurai, and maybe mix a little bit of assassination in there, because sometimes there are just way too many guards for you to deal with. But it's just been a weird sort of learning experience. Yeah, and the rest of it is mostly just an open world kind of deal.
Gotcha. It does sound like it kind of wants parts of the story kind of want to steer you into being noisy and the but the instinct otherwise maybe is to go stealth, and that sounds odd to say the least.
Yeah,
and it does sound like a little bit of a more subtle approach to the infamous binary, where the game would freeze and it would go, to your point, do you want to burn down this orphanage or do you want to save the kids? And you're not like picking A or B in Ghost of Tsushima. You're sort of like, choosing with your actions, and maybe it would have been nice to know if you could have chosen another path.
Yeah. It's still sort of interesting because I'm just like, I don't know if this is actually having an effect on the outcome of anything. I don't know if it's going to be like a Dishonored situation where, they're just way more rats at the end of the game because you've been killing everybody.
Yeah. Or the Telltale where you get the Michonne will remember this later.
Yes. Yeah. It hasn't been quite that upfront about it, except for that one cutscene where it's just like your uncle's so disappointed. And who knows? But it's been a weird experience.
You're so dishonorable, DJ.
I mean, yeah, I really am looking forward to that Assassin's Creed, because I'm just like, okay, if I just want to be a ninja and be allowed to be a ninja and not be like, yeah, well, we took the whole castle back by assassinating people, and not have them be like, oh, well, wish you didn't assassinate all those people.
Yeah, and now you're shunned from polite society.
Yeah. Oh, weird. There's this whole, like, one of the actually major sort of gameplay components in the game is whenever you encounter like a stronghold or just like a group of enemies as you're traveling, you can do like a standoff with them, which is like you basically just announce yourself by yelling at them, and you're just like, I'm here to kill everybody in this fortress or whatever because I'm Jin the samurai, and then so you like challenge one to sort of like a samurai like quick draw duel. You know how they do that.
Yeah.
But it's this whole thing. You like go into a separate cutscene, and you face off against this one guy, and then everybody in the castle comes out and attacks you because they've seen you come up and yell at them and execute their leader or whatever. But you try to do that in some cases, and then the NPCs who are with you are just like, "Oh, the Jin, this wasn't the plan. We're supposed to be sneaking around." It's like, what do you want me to do? You put this button prompt on the screen that says yell at everybody and then murder them. And then you're just like, oh no, that was the wrong choice. We should have done that. So I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. It feels like they give you options and then they have like different intentions for how they expect you to carry out some of these missions.
And they judge you for using them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they get all judgy afterward, which is like, I don't remember the last time I played a game, which was just this critical of how I was playing it.
But are you other than that sort of like duality, are you enjoying, are you having fun with the rest of what's going on?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's like a solid 3 out of 5, I would say. I was really hoping there would be more to like the dueling system. But for the most part, it's just the sort of like kind of Assassin's Creed / like Arkham Asylum combat where it's like, oh, somebody's about to do an attack, so hit your counter and you'll immediately disarm and kill them.
Oh, interesting.
It's not quite that easy. Like there's like the enemies in this are surprisingly resilient. But it like more or less it's that sort of combat.
I like that Arkham combat though. I think that's fun.
It's fine, but it's just so, I've played 100 games like this.
Yeah, that's true too.
I was hoping they would take some like bigger swings with just any component of it. It's I can't remember the last big open world game I played like this.
Where are you sort of in your consumption of open world games at this point? Is that still a thing that you're excited about, or like me, do you just sort of dread them?
I think it's been long enough that I played one that's like this. I just sort of forgotten what they were like. Like the last big open world game I played was probably there's Dragon's Dogma, which, man, why isn't every other game as good as that game? I don't know. Well, I think like I was going to say Breath of the Wild or something like that, but that is very different. But it just reminded me like a lot of these older open world games like Grand Theft Auto or Assassin's Creed or Horizon, I suppose. Mm-hmm. A lot of the appeal is because of the open world itself and the sort of things that you can now do because that's the format and not necessarily like the smaller sort of gameplay systems. Because like if you look at Grand Theft Auto and you look at the driving and shooting and all the things that you're actually doing, I don't think any of them are especially like great.
No, not at all. I agree.
They're all just like good enough. But the fact that you're doing them in this world where there's so many different things that can happen, and there's just like vast possibilities available, just makes it more interesting. And I think it's the same in this where like the combat, it's like fine, it's not terrible. But if this was just like if I had to do 100 combat challenges or something as Jin, I don't think I would be into it. The combat's fine. Side quests are typical sort of open world stuff where you like go around and at the end of the quest you get an item that makes your attack like 0.2% stronger. It's like, oh, great.
A couple hundred more of those, you'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, there's so many things like that where it's like, okay, well, you found 1/4 of an upgrade. It's like, okay, I was like, I don't care. just give me the whole thing. Just
you found
a fewer of these. Yeah.
a quarter of a heart container.
Yes, exactly. Because I don't even like finding the quarter of the heart container. Just like, give me the whole heart container. Just have a quarter number, like a quarter as many of these quests. I remember playing, when I was playing Sleeping Dogs, maybe the last great sort of open world game from that era. I remember thinking like, oh man, there's still like quests all over the world. There are fewer of them, but they're all much more interesting, or like the rewards anyway. And generally what you were doing in the quests is so much better than what you would do in like a GTA quest.
Yeah.
Or an Assassin's Creed quest.
Yeah.
So I think this gets away from that a little bit, when just that there's so much stuff all over the map that you can find, but none of it individually is very meaningful. You just have to do like 100 of them to get the benefit out of them. Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting kind of like distinction, is that there's that era of the Saints Row, GTA, Sleeping Dogs to a degree. Although, I mean, I think you too really liked Sleeping Dogs, and I like that it sort of like doubled down on, we are also a racing game, and made like the street races like a big significant part of it. And the racing and driving is actually really fun in that game, I thought. And,
I think like the driving is really good. I think the combat was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was definitely better than GTA.
Yeah. And then the other end of the spectrum is things like Dishonored, or like the modern Deus Ex games, to a lesser degree, even like a Dragon games. Where it's we're not necessarily going for like the biggest open world in video gaming, but one that has sort of like meaningful and interesting kind of structure to it. It kind of takes you to different places rather than just sort of like, Vice City.
Yeah. Here's 100 hidden packages for you to find.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Can you find all the pigeons? So yeah, I think that that's an interesting distinction, and yeah, I'm clearly sort of like on the side of, Dishonored and Deus Ex rather than just driving around and beating up cops.
Although sometimes it's fun to just drive around.
Yeah, and sometimes it's fun to beat up cops.
Yeah. It's really gotten me thinking like, oh man, do I even want to play Assassin's Creed at this point? I don't know. It's been a long time since I played any of those either, so I don't know how much those have changed.
I've not played one of those in a very long time. Yeah, I don't know what I would be getting myself into at this point with one of those games.
The thing is, like with Assassin's Creed Shadows specifically, because that's the one that's also in Japan. And to some extent with this one, I was just thinking, even if the gameplay doesn't land for me, or the story or whatever, at least I will be able to just like hang out in like this gorgeous landscape or whatever, because that was my expectation. And I think the biggest tragedy of this is like it doesn't even look that good, which is like I feel bad about just slagging on this game constantly.
Oh, really?
But it just looks like a very shiny, I don't know, like a game from that era. Like it just doesn't. It's hard to nail down what really bothers me about the aesthetics in this, but it just doesn't look like natural.
You keep saying that era. I don't think this is that old, DJ.
No, I mean like the era of open world games. It's not that old. It's like from 2020, I think. But when I'm saying like, what I'm thinking, it reminds me of a PS3, Xbox 360 game where it was. I feel like games paid less attention to sort of the art direction and the general aesthetics. It was just like, ooh, all the graphics are in HD, and look how huge this map is.
Sure. Okay. I hear you.
So, I expected it to, if you look at screenshots of Assassin's Creed, that genuinely does look incredible. And I would love to just exist there as a video game character. But in this, it just looks like I'm in a stupid video game.
I remember people being very pleased with how good this game looked, but I could be mistaken. Yeah.
It's very colorful. There's a lot of areas where, there's like the bright yellow, like ginkgo trees or whatever those are. And like there's areas with bright pink cherry blossoms, but it just looks sort of like hyper real. Like have you seen like HDR photography where it's all like super high contrast and the colors look incredibly unnatural, but at the same time, it's just like, oh my God, look how colorful this photo is.
Yeah. Every picture taken with a Samsung phone looks like that to me.
Yes. But it is also sort of like hideous at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just looks like it's very much in the uncanny valley. It's like, it doesn't look like a real place. And that was surprising to me because that was not how I remember people describing this game. Everybody is just like, "Oh man, look at the landscapes in this game. Look how many leaves are flying around." Oh, there's just so many leaves in the air all the time. That is also kind of just pulling me out of the experience. It's very weird.
Well, bummer.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still just like at this point, it's like, man, what sort of weird escapades is Jin going to get up to next? I don't know. And, at some point, sometimes it is just fun to play a stupid video game, but like I said, it's not going to be in my top 10, I don't think.
I mean, the big question for any open world game, and of course, I'm curious how it applies to Ghost of Tsushima. How's the driving in this?
You can ride a horse. Which,
fantastic.
I end up doing much more than I did in Zelda. Zelda was like much more interesting to just walk around on foot, though. And
I agree.
In Tsushima, I kind of just want to get to wherever I'm going.
Yeah. I mean, the horses in Zelda are just going too fast. I'm missing stuff. Like, if I walk, I can kind of consume it at my own pace, and there's no chance of me zooming past something helpful or useful or interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do really like all the sequences where you'll be like riding alongside one of the other characters, and you're having a conversation, and I will notice a collectible off the side of the road, so I will just sort of like slightly veer off the path to like pick up some flowers or something as the NPC continues talking to me, and most of the time they will just not notice what I was doing. But I think there was one time where the NPC stopped and waited for me to come back to the path, and they're like, "Okay, you done?" Like, okay,
I remember that happening.
Let's get back to this.
In Uncharted 4, I think there were like big open world segments of that game where you're driving around in a Jeep with Sully and your brother, and they'd be having, of course, it's a Naughty Dog game, so like big conversations were happening, and Sully was being funny and yada yada, telling a story about the last time you were in Tunisia or whatever, and you would see a collectible and hop out of the Jeep and run over and pick it up. And Sully, they had written in little clips of dialogue where Sully would be like, "I'll finish the story later."
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And then you get back in the boat or back in the Jeep, and he's like, "Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh, wait. Yeah. That time we were in Tunisia." So like they had built in conditions for him to like get his story interrupted and come back to it later. I'm like, that's pretty smart.
That was really good. Yeah. I like that.
I'm not going to miss a collectible because Sully's telling a story.
Ghost of Tsushima is not quite that self-aware, but that would be hilarious if they started doing that.
That'd be funny, yeah.
Especially, if it was your judgmental uncle who's just like, "Oh, really? Okay."
Just perpetually rolling his eyes at you.
You need more bamboo? Great.
Can't get enough of it.
Sure, you gotta upgrade your weapons. Oh, man. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. It's an open world game.
Cool. I have no follow-up questions. I played a couple of quick games this past week. We don't have a time left, so I will quickly chime in on Spilled. It's a cute little, very brief game. I played it on my Steam Deck. It runs great on the deck. It's $6. It's like an hour and a half long, and you are a little boat that cleans up oil spills.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. My thought was like, oh, this is my Earth Day game. And you'd like pilot your little boat around, and you clean up oil slicks and rescue little woodland creatures who are stuck in gobs of oil.
Woodland creatures? They're not like sea otters or something?
Well, there's those two, like sea otters, sea turtles, polar bears, penguins, that kind of thing.
Polar bear? Oh, man.
That's the collectible in this game. There's like 22 animals you have to rescue. And Yeah, and then you turn in the oil at the refinery after you've cleaned up some of the slick, and you get a little payout, little coins for those. Use the coins to upgrade your ship. You can drive a little faster. You get a bigger sweep on the front of your ship that sort of sucks up more oil. Or you get a big storage tank, a bigger storage tank, so you can carry more before you have to turn it in again. There's other little collectibles, bottles and debris and things like that. At some point later in the game, there's little forest fires you can shoot water at from your ship and stuff like that to put out. You get bonus points for those too. You're basically sort of like bringing back this area from kind of eco disaster. And the cool thing is, as you start to clean it up, as you get further and further into each section, sort of getting cleaner and cleaner, and you're getting more and more of the oil, you can start to see through the water, and you can see little fish and dolphins and things swimming around underneath, and it starts to snow, or like flowers start to bloom, and like nature comes back to these places. Before you sort of like get 100% on this section, a little barrier comes down, you drive your boat to the next one, and you lather, rinse, repeat. It's cute. It's delightful. It has a lovely little synthy soundtrack. It's just a 90-minute. It doesn't really even have a story. You don't really get a lot of setup or characters like that. It's a toy, and it was a nice little kind of afternoon distraction. Yeah, I think if you got kids, it's probably like a fair kids game. Even it's not especially difficult. It's like 2-button controls.
Got a nice wholesome message behind it.
Super, absolutely, yeah. It's a single person developer, a female developer. Her name is Linty. She is Dutch. She lives on a boat, so she wanted to make a game about a boat, which was kind of interesting. The only part of making the game that she farmed out to another developer or talent person was the music, essentially. Everything else in the game is her artwork and her programming. And yeah, for $6 for 90 minutes of entertainment, I thought it was a pretty good price proposition. Would recommend.
My only question is, where you both encounter polar bears and fight forest fires?
Well, you're progressing. You're moving from different places.
Oh, there's 2 different places.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So like each area is kind of a slightly different biome. So you finish cleaning up and clearing one area, and like I said, like a barrier will come down, and you can drive your boat into the next one, which is some slightly different geography, with different animals and different sort of flora and fauna. One of them is like a campsite with like. This is where the forest fire came. And there's a little campsite. The fire has sort of gone wild. But there's like tents and little cabins and stuff like that. And yeah, you get into the mountains, you get into the plateaus, et cetera, et cetera. It's cute.
Nice.
Yeah. This is called Spilled. Like I said, I played it on my Steam Deck. It is only on Steam right now. I don't think it's on other consoles yet. But it was fun. I had a good time with it.
Nice. That sounds like a pleasant afternoon.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. I like a good single sitting game. I've not had a really kind of good one lately. So it was kind of fun to sort of like beginning, middle, and end of this thing all in one session.
Yeah, I don't play any game that's shorter than 50 hours long now, apparently.
I don't think I've ever played a Steam game where I have unlocked every single Steam achievement in it. This one I did. I got all 11 in this game, yeah. On
you
the first
get
try.
in on those like jumping hamburger games or whatever.
Don't even know what that means.
Okay, well, no, they're probably better off not knowing.
Okay. The other game I played this week is Star Overdrive. This is a fun new indie game out for most things. I played a chunk of it on the Switch. This is the developer is this Dear Villagers. They made Caravan Sandwich that came out last year.
Played some of that.
Yeah, I played a chunk of that too. I like that game. Cute, charming, kind of cozy. This is a more kind of traditional Zelda-style open world game. Where you, with a bit of a sci-fi twist, you have a hoverboard that allows you to like explore a big alien planet, trying to rescue your friend, collect enough like information and details and upgrades and things like that to rescue a friend who's kind of gone missing. and is reaching out to you for help. You have a hoverboard that allows you to get from place to place. You have a guitar, yes, the musical instrument, which is your your weapon in it, and you bash monsters and animals and critters and things like that with your guitar and upgrade it to do special moves and et cetera, et cetera. And you're like zipping from place to place on the planet, solving puzzles and flipping switches. There's big towers that you can unlock that allow you to see more of the terrain. Tell me if that sounds familiar. And yeah, it's fun and kind of charming. Dialogue's a little bit forgettable. The combat is kind of the worst part of it. It's a little stiff. It doesn't ever quite feel fluid. It's a lot of like just bashing the hell out of things. Like it doesn't feel like there's any like strategy to it.
What are you doing for the combat? Are you like hitting stuff with your guitar?
Correct. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and you get additional moves and things like that too, where you can like generate, like you played notes on the guitar and it like shoots projectiles and stuff like that, which is again kind of a cool, like very specific thing for this game. But none of it ever feels great. It is the part of the game that could benefit the most from being a little more polished and a little more refined.
Is there a lot of combat?
Not terribly. Fortunately, not a ton. Right. Most of the game is kind of puzzle solving, and the bulk of the game is actually you riding from place to place on your hoverboard and upgrading your hoverboard so you can go faster and farther. And every time you go over like a crest of sand or snow or something like that, it's like SSX. You're doing tricks in the air and spins and stuff like that. And you're trying to like get maximum hang time. Yeah, so the most fun part of this thing is just zipping all over the planet on your upgradable hoverboard. Which feels great, which clearly all of the effort in making this game feel fun and interesting went into getting around. And maybe some of those resources probably could have gone into combat a little bit. Yeah.
Or just take the combat out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be probably better served to just not even engage in that and just make it kind of a puzzle solving, interesting sort of navigation of the geography and like little platforming challenges and stuff like that while you're zipping around on the hoverboard. And yeah, a lot of the puzzles are like, find the 10 switches buried in the sand and you've got to flip them and that powers up the tower and the tower tells you where you are and shows you all the collectibles and you collect all the collectibles and that allows you to upgrade your hoverboard and upgrade your guitar. And then you go on to the next one and find your friend, but they're all, 100 miles apart. So you've got to zip around on your hoverboard while being chased by a giant sand monster and stuff like that. And, the zipping around, the getting around and solving puzzles is fun. That could be enough of the game, I think, to be engaging. So yeah, it does feel like the combat was a little bit shoehorned in.
And whenever I think of underwhelming combat now, I just think of like, for some reason, Infinity Nikki, because there is combat in that, but it's so not a thing that it almost may as well not exist. But at the same time, it's just thoughtless. Like enemies will pop up and you just spam you just throw orbs at them and they're defeated. So it's like there kind of is combat, but it's not really like ever a threat to you or even a hindrance. That just kind of just like in there for flavor almost. But it sounds like with this, they actually were trying to come up with some sort of interesting system where you're, playing different notes or whatever on the guitar.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, that part of it just doesn't ever sort of feel fully realized. And I don't know, maybe I'm kind of hoping either they patch it to be a little bit better or just take it out altogether. But yeah, it's this weird sort of valley between like that part feels like a bit of a chore and unfortunately does not come up terribly often. And the rest of what you're doing is fun and feels like, oh, geez, if they had Breath of the Wild, if you had a hoverboard and you could zip around the map, that would be really neat, right? A little weird, but it kind of works in this, and it's all got this kind of synthy sci-fi vibe to it, which I kind of like. You collect messages from your friend, and they're all cassette tapes that you play on your Walkman. So there's whole like retro 80s kind of technology thing going on too. It's cute. It's got like character to it, which I kind of like. Yeah, it's fun. I'm playing the demo on the Switch made me want to play the whole game. And that's not always the case when I play the demo for things. So
it's a good demo then.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, would recommend folks, if any of this sounds interesting to you and you're looking for a little fun kind of open world exploration and puzzling with occasionally annoying combat, check out this game is called Star Overdrive. Like I said, I played it on the Switch, but I think it's on everything at this point.
Nice.
Yeah.
My gold standard more games would just leave, or just like not be afraid to omit combat from them, or make it less mandatory.
I've said that so many Zelda, times on our show that I feel like it's a bit of a
it's
joke.
Basically your tagline at this point.
It's my thing. Yeah, stop making games where I have to fight or kill people.
Or just like, I wish Zelda would just, like the most recent Zelda would just give you some big magic wand that vaporizes enemies instantly, because I don't really care for the combat in those.
Yeah.
I just want to ride around on a hoverboard, or whatever the Zelda equivalent is.
Yeah.
You can probably just build a hoverboard in Tears of the Kingdom.
Just building things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's kind of, I mean, I would think that's kind of why I liked the new Zelda where you play as Zelda. Because she does not actually engage in any combat directly. You're using kind of the echoes to like replicate other monsters and enemies and fighters, and they fight for you. And there's some strategy to that, making sure you're picking the right thing and allocating your kind of your echo resources intelligently. So it's not just sort of mindless where you hide in a corner and let somebody else do all your fighting. You have to kind of think it out. But I like that it was kind of that slightly more interesting twist on, rather than just having like a sword and a shield yourself.
Yeah, see, I think they could have easily just taken that out completely. Then just keep everything else very puzzle focused, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
I think people are coming around there, though. They're just like, oh, it used to be, you have to have some sort of combat, or like, you've always got a health meter or something, or a number of lives left.
They do the video game things.
Yeah, that feels like less and less important.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my biggest wish is a Tomb Raider game that's just raiding tombs.
Yeah.
And which is why I like the DLC for the last couple of trilogy games, is that there was really no combat in any of them. It was just more tombs for you to like explore and
just, oops, all tombs.
Yeah, oops, all tombs. Solve puzzles and platforming challenges and how to get from point A to point B and unlock the crypt at the end or whatever, and et cetera, et cetera. All of those were super, super fun in a way that like the long drawn out parts of the game where you're sitting behind a box and shooting at bad guys just feels like every other stupid video game.
Yeah. I think I've only played sort of the earlier Tomb Raiders, but I much prefer the sort of platforming segments to it's like a run around in a circle with wolves chasing you or whatever was happening.
Totally, yeah. Oh, don't make me kill wolves. I just feel bad about that.
Yeah. Wolves are real racist, though. You gotta take that one down.
Racist wolves. Yeah. So yeah, those two games again are Spilled and Star Overdrive. They are out for various things. If any of that sounds interesting.
Oh,
yeah. And I want to play Expedition 33 Claire Obscure next. That's probably my next thing.
Everybody seems to like it.
Everybody loves that game. Yeah, it's a big deal right now.
How much are you into mimes?
Not at all.
Not? Well, no. See how that goes.
Here's the thing that's sort of like I'm worried about too, is that it does sort of seem to get in the reviews thus far a lot of comparisons to previous Final Fantasy games.
It looks a lot like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, which I've not put a lot of time or effort into really kind of exploring the Final Fantasy thing. So I don't know if that's for me or not.
Maybe you should check some of those out.
Yeah. Or maybe I just play the French game.
Or, yeah. What if you could have random encounters in a game, but every time, instead of monsters, it was just a terrifying mime.
Just a mime, just a scary mime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds very French.
Everything I've seen looks extremely French, just like surprisingly so. Like I can't like developer is French, right? So I
Yes, yeah.
it's not like somebody else is trying to like parody French culture or something. Like they're doing it to themselves, but it's still surprising. Just like how French it is. They're just like so in your face with it.
It's so French.
Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap this show up. And I took 7 years of French, so I will do the outro entirely in French. Here we go.
Oh man, this will be good.
No, I'm kidding. I have almost no memory of it whatsoever. So if you need any more video game hangover in your brain, you should follow us on Blue Sky. Just search for VGHangover.com. And don't forget, you can always get show notes and links and tell us what you thought about this episode at VGHangover.com as well. We would love for you to join us on Discord. You can hang out with us and chat about video games. You can vent your frustrations or strategies for not getting or getting a PlayStation. Nope. What is it called? A Nintendo Switch 2? Or a PlayStation.
All over the place.
Your choice. Yeah, I'm having trouble here. I keep trying to translate it into French in my head.
Yeah, I know. That's what's going on.
Yep. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, or anywhere else you can find a podcast. There are a lot of them. And it would help us immensely if you would tell your friends about the show.
Yes, that helps us out a lot. We really appreciate your help if you do that, man. I'm just thinking about mimes. It's the worst. This is a disaster.
Nobody ever listens to this point anyways. Everybody stopped. We're good. This is for us.
No, this is just, that's a nice sentiment. God, how do we get back on track? Speaking of mimes, we'd like to give thanks again to RJ Like this week for our intro and outro music. If you'd like to hear more of his work, you can go to spellmynamewithabang.bandcamp.com, download all those good mime albums. It'd be very pointless for a mime to have a Bandcamp account.
What's a mime album? Yeah.
This wouldn't sound like anything.
Nope. Just blank tape.
Okay, that's it. I think we're done.
All right. We'll be back next week. Until then, je m'appelle Randy Dickinson.
I guess French. This is DJ Ross.
Au revoir. Bonjour.
That means hello. You don't say that at the end.
Well, it's like aloha. It just means hello and goodbye.
Is it? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's true. That is a thing. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Aloha.
Thanks for listening to Video Game Hangover. Goodbye.
Good night.
See ya.